What's up, guys? Bryce Baum here, and my mind's going about 100 miles an hour. Just had an opportunity to experience a couple days of going and watching some great bodybuilders and powerlifters in action. I've been at Elite FTS in London, Ohio, the past 2 days to witness a brutal leg workout and a chest and tricep workout today. With John Meadows, the Mountain Dog himself, Ben Pekalski, and Dave Tate, the founder of Elite FTS. If I can sum up the experience in one word, it would just be motivating, guys. One thing you guys got to learn, you got to realize that if you're looking to progress as an athlete in any sport, and especially here in bodybuilding, I think the biggest things you got to have is some humility to you, and you've got to have a constant thirst for knowledge. Okay, you got to check your ego at the door. Somebody always knows something different than you, whether they have less or more experience. And let me tell you, it just was nothing but motivating for me. I've been lifting weights for 12 years now, but my knowledge doesn't hold a candle to these guys. One thing I want to talk to you guys about today really is what opened my eyes this weekend. And that is just the fact that I believe that a small percentage of our fitness population really digs down in the roots of what was presented to us so many years ago in the golden ages when bodybuilding and fitness first came out. And that's that these guys adopted a format that just solely was based on high intensity. Okay, that's all they knew. All go, all the time. You had Arnold doing high intensity for an extremely high volume. You had Tom Platz doing high intensity for lower volume, or incorporating a lot of shock techniques. You had Mike Mentzer adopting the technique of high intensity training. You had Frank Zane doing high intensity to improve the aesthetic appearance of somebody that was, originally an ectomorph. But there was one thing that was coinciding with all of them, and that's the fact that they trained as hard as they could every single session. Now, the frequency at which they trained probably differed with each person. Some guys going 2-a-days, some guys going 3 or 4 training, workouts a week. Some training their body parts 2 or 3 times a week. Some training them just once a week. Some doing abs every day. Some doing calves every day. Some not training abs and calves at all. They all adopted a training technique that worked just for them because there was nothing else. Well, here we are, 30, 40 years later, and there's so many speculations out there of what works and what doesn't. And Flex Magazine says this, Muscular Development says this, RX Muscle says this, your Arnold Encyclopedia said this. You learn this in college and in school, and oftentimes we don't rely on what the path that we've traveled in our experience. And that's really what these guys really open up to me, is they're listening to their body. Okay, they have made a mental log of the things that have worked for them in the past, and they know these things, they know these exercises and these techniques. They get them down, they master the mechanics, they learn how to isolate the best they can. Okay, they learn how to establish that mind-muscle connection the best they can, and then they just work it to a maximal intensity. Now, I'm not talking about every set. I'm talking about working up to that maximal intensity. But, one exercise, one set, 2 sets, 3 sets in a workout, they're going to go all out till they have nothing left, till they have to bend over and puke in a bucket, or until somebody has to pick them up off the ground. And we saw that. I videotaped some of that this weekend. And let me tell you, I think most of us train between that 50% to 85% intensity. We never really get to that pain barrier that even back in the day Arnold was talking about. You got to go beyond failure. You got to break past the pain barrier, because that is when muscular growth, muscular hypertrophy, quality growth is going to really happen. Okay, we rely too much in this day and age on supplements, chemical enhancement. Everybody that thinks, that somebody that has some progress in the gym, somebody thinks that it was because of chemical enhancement. let me tell you guys, these pros that are at the elite level, these IFBB pros, they have a ton of progress in a 12-month time period. It's because they have taken that next step to really fine-tune their body, fine-tune their mechanics, listen to their body, feed their body well with nutrition, rest efficiently. They got on a training protocol that worked for their body, and then they took their training to the next level and worked at 100-110% every single workout. And then once they got closer and closer to competition, they picked that intensity up at more of a frequency. So they may have went from 4 training sessions to 5, then to 6, then to 7. A lot of, that's a method that John talks about a lot in his training. Or you could be more like Ben, where, you're going to go from 3 sessions a week to 4 sessions a week to 5 sessions a week. And then you're going to start to do 2-a-days of the same body part in the same day, okay? With a 4 or 5 hour window between those, just to maximize the volume of the training of that body part, but just to stimulate it to grow to the maximum effort, to the fullest of its potential. Okay, so I've thrown a lot of things at you guys today. I've rambled a lot, but there's just a lot of stuff going on in my head. I saw a lot of things that that I expected to see, but I saw a lot of things that just open up doors. It's great to get out and see some new thoughts, some new ideas, some new training techniques, meet new people, because it remotivates you guys. Getting in the gym and being motivated is what's going to help you guys have progress. When you're going in and you're stagnant, okay, and you're going through the motions, you guys are going to get stuck in a rut. So keep on pushing yourself as far as educating yourself. Get wiser, get smarter in the different avenues of taking your body to the next level. Learn more about nutrition. Learn more about weight training. Learn more about shock techniques, okay? And don't be afraid to reach out to individuals that know more than you, okay? Even the ones that haven't been doing it as long. The biggest problem that you can have in the gym is feeling like you're too vulnerable or being too self-conscious or you can't ask, okay? And those of you that do know more, remember to give back, pay it forward, okay? John has talked a lot about that recently. Ben and John both talked about that recently on a podcast. That's something that Tom Platz has preached years and years, and I think that Arnold has done a big part in that since he's been involved in the fitness industry so long, okay? So guys, get in the gym, train intensely, okay? But before you even train intensely, learn your mechanics, okay? Learn how to isolate the muscle. Learn what exercises work a muscle in a different way, okay? Get on a training regimen that's got some structure, okay? Have a meaning to your training regimen. Feed your body good calories. Do not overeat, okay? Do your research on what macronutrients work what, okay? Learn how to keep your cortisol levels in check. Learn how to keep your hormones in check. Get the sleep, guys, okay? Get your 6-8 hours of sleep. And then when you get your 6-8 hours of sleep, wake up in the morning, get your cardio in, okay? And then when you get your cardio in, get your couple meals in and get to the gym, all right? When you get to the gym, train as hard as you possibly can. But be safe. Warm that muscle up. Get your exercises in that's going to pump that muscle full of blood. And when it's full of blood, use your techniques that you know, that you've mastered, your drop sets, your high intensity sets, bands, chains, partials, iso tension, you name it. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and use those to take your physique to the next level. All right. I hope some of this information helped you guys out. Okay. Remember, there's a lot more information out there that is a lot better than mine. Why don't you go check out Ben Pekulski at benpekulski.com. Check out his MI40 program. It's awesome. Check out John Meadows at mountaindogdiet.com. Okay. Check out Dave Tate's website, EliteFTS.com. There's all kinds of great powerlifting manuals and protocol methods on there. Some training programs that will really help you guys take it to the next level. And if you guys want to check out my website, it's flexfitnessclubllc.com. And you guys feel free to email me with questions and concerns at bombflex@gmail.com. That's BAHMFLEX@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at the same name, @bombflex. And look me up on Facebook, guys. Take care. Remember, stay healthy, train hard, get your sleep. be positive. Thanks.